Hey, yo, what is up, YouTube? It is the Primal Game Shop official YouTube channel coming at you with our first ever ban list discussion for January 2022. We have a lot of meta stuff going on right now. Every card you see on the screen is what we're going to discuss. We have some hot takes, some not hot takes, some anger management. I just lost connection to Dueling Book. That's okay. We're going to get back into it. So joining me for this discussion, first and foremost, we have another fellow YouTuber, LoganJYA. Say what's happening to the people.
What's going on, everybody? LoganJYA here. You already know who it would be, and you already know what it'd be about. If you look at this list, you're probably seeing the ones that you know I'm thinking about.
Alrighty, then we're also joined by my boy TK.
Yo, what's good? What's good, everybody?
And last but not least, we're joined by the silliest admin of them all, the ROB, Mr. Crackdown himself. Say hi to the people.
Hey.
Alright, with that being said, let's get into it and let's do it. The first up on our discussion is Arch Nemesis Protoss. Sword Soul makes it. We all hate it. I can see this card getting banned.
Agreed.
Like, it's just, it's... Konami's been on this hinge of banning cards that say, don't play the game, and this is one of those cards. So I feel like it'll continue going forward.
So, the factors I think that would relate to this card's ban are a few. One, I could see it because it has been out for quite a long time. It came out in like a turn-G code. So, it being new is not a factor. But I could see being a factor with that is it being played in a very new deck, Sword Soul. So, it really depends on their decision on what they would like. Would they like to keep Sword Soul like pretty prominent with this? But even if you ban this, Sword Soul is still a very good deck. I'm really not sure how that would impact the decision.
I'd also argue it's like this. You're hitting Sword Soul without actually hitting the Sword Soul cards. Like, the deck is like
Pretty
fine
much.
without it. You're not hitting any of the engine. The consistency's just there. It just doesn't have a bomb. Like, as big of a bomb going first. Like, Barone plus Shizhao is still, like, really good off of one card. Like...
Any hot takes?
Oh, I was just going to add that I think it's possible that it could get banned, but if it does and Drytron goes unchecked, then Drytron instantly creeps back into Tier 1. Sword Soul with access to Protoss and Tri-Brigade with its full combo board going first are the only reasons why Drytron is held back right now. So, I mean, it's possible. I don't know if I see it happening this list. It might be in a future list.
Those are fair points. Fair points. Alright, with Protoss moving out of the way, we have Artifact Scythe. This card has been the enemy of combo decks for a very long time. It's been around for a while. I can see, I don't want this card to get hit because I play it, but I could see it getting hit with the easy accessibility to Artifact Dagda and DPE, especially just being able to churn out this combo in almost any deck is really insane. So for those reasons, I could see this card getting banned. I'd also be very sad about it. But what do you guys think?
Just being so easily accessible in so many decks, like one Logan plays all the time, Pendulum, like makes this quite frequently. It's just like it's too easily accessible, and I would think that if you ban Dagda, it might be a bit more fair with this. You can just use it like a trap lineup for like just trap tricks and other trap like decks, just summon it off the Sanctum. I could honestly see just it getting banned or Dagda getting banned. I could see either one.
Tom?
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly think Dagda is an objectively better hit. Because then it becomes unsearchable. And like, unless you want to play 3 Scythe in your deck or something, like I don't see a combo deck playing like that big of an engine. Like the whole thing with Scythe is that it's just grabbable by an extra deck card now.
No, I think I would hard disagree with that. I think Scythe is the problem child. Nothing is wrong with Dagda outside of Scythe. Like, you want to let people search Morale Talk, that's completely fine. And if you were to eliminate Dagda rather than Scythe, then people could still play the Sanctum package similar to what Sky Striker lists are doing currently. So I have to disagree.
Oh,
Very fair opinion.
that's a fair
I think we're looking
counterpoint.
at more the ways of Scythe is not inherently the unfair card. Just Dagda makes it so easily accessible.
I mean,
but
Scythe is the unfair card. Scythe is the card that says you can't play from your extra deck.
Well, how about this? Correction. It was not lately a problem unfair card.
Yeah.
Until Dagda
Correction.
Until Dagda came out.
Pre-Dagda, it was
Well,
a side deck engine.
You could also say that it wasn't a problem until DPE came out, being able to turbo pop your Scythe. You know, it's like a stack of getting better support and better support as, you know, the card game moves on. But Scythe is still the unfair card. It's just easier grabbable now. So I could see Scythe being the one that gets hit over Dagda.
Oh, I could completely see it. I'm just trying to say, like, I'm just trying to give the perspective of why Dagda might get hit instead.
Right. Which is fair. That's fair. This next card, Logan, I'm gonna let you take it away here because I don't touch Drytron. I don't know nothing about Drytron. So talk about Eva and what you think is gonna happen to this card on this ban list and why.
I think if they're gonna check Drytron, the most obvious way that I see them doing it is by banning Eva. They're already on the track to doing so by limiting it on the previous Forbidden Limited list. And I talk about this a lot in my ban list video. It's basically what locks and loads the negates for the Herald of Ultimateness. It also adds longevity in case you need to search Divine Run follow-up. Hard opening it is good, then you just have to search out an Orange Light. It's a level 1, so of course in a terrible situation you can use it to make Moy Beta Fafnir. There's a lot of synergy there. It's what really makes the Ultimateness itself broken, because without it you're short minimum 2, at sometimes 3 to 4 negates for your Ultimateness. So I think it's the fair hit. Drytron can adapt and play without it. There's a bunch of other different builds of Drytron that you can do. You could still use the fairies, only end on 2 to 3 Omni negates rather than 4 to 6. It's I think it's a fair hit. I think it's and I do see them hitting Drytron because it goes along with my theory of them hitting old decks to make room for the new ones.
And another thing to add on top of that, Eva has been around since the Synchro, the Air Knight Parshav structure deck.
Wave of light.
Eva has been around for long enough. It's been around for a big chunk of time. Useless for most of it, but I can see them hitting this old card just because of what can abuse it nowadays.
Yeah, it's only 4 years old, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's also important to note that I think Konami would actually really like to see Drytron do something different than just be played in a fairy deck, and they'd actually be interested. So I think Drytron was actually meant for just generic ritual support, and then it just became standardized fairy build. I think they'd really be interested to see like Megalith run a Drytron package, or Necros run a Drytron package.
Or, hot take, Hungry Burger Turbo with a Drytron package, right? Because we want that sandwich, 6, right? Man. I think so. I think Hungry Burger's a level 6.
Can you imagine people overlaying Hungry Burger for Beatrice, bro?
That's all fun and games. Next up on the list, we have Magispector Unicorn Kieran. I remember talking to you guys about this before for a little while, at what my opinion were on this. I could see it coming back to 1, possibly. Is it inherently super broken anymore? Maybe not. Maybe it's a little more balanced now without all the other cards to back it up, and with the meta being what it is now. I started playing Pendulum recently and seeing how Pendulum is like really good right now. I don't know if it really needs that oomph unless there's like a counter hit to him in some way or form. But I could see it coming back to 1. I don't think it's crazy broken. I still think it's really good, but I can't see like Magispector being a top tier deck again.
I think when the new Pendulum support comes out, like that new Busted Link 2 and the new extra Pendulum summon card, see that happening. I could see it coming to 1, but I personally just think like power creep just really irrelevated this card, and it's still a good card, but not as it was back then.
Right.
And Magispector, if it would use it at all, it wouldn't become broken. It would still be probably pretty bad. So like, I think it can come back to maybe 3, probably not, but 1 probably.
I would not say 3 because then the engine becomes like way too splashable.
Yeah,
but at 1, like you can still play 3 Bunbuku to search it, but like then once you run out of that target, like then it's kind of like, I think it's fine because we're also banning Scythe. You ban Scythe, Pend is seriously hurt. Like that is its main combo now.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm like, if they hit Pendulum, then they could let Kieran out. But if they don't, then I don't see it coming. Any thoughts, Logan?
Kieran?
Yep.
Originally, I thought that it was going to be coming back. Either it or Electromite. I've since kind of shifted gears on this one. I actually slightly lean towards Monkey Board coming back before Kieran. But I think there could be a fair case made for all of them, honestly. It's going to be minimum one Pendulum support card coming back. Minimum, by far minimum, and I'm not counting Skokerback coming back to 3 because that's a guarantee. It's hard to say, though. I think Kieran strongly could come back because you compare it to things like DPE, Dragoon. It's far more fair. Yeah, we're going to have to see, though. We're going to have to see.
All right. We all love this meme. Am I right, guys? Max XXC. This was Rob's idea. Everyone out there. I don't think Maxi's coming back.
It's not a real ban list if you don't talk about Maxi.
Maxi is just... TCG players just love combo too much. The reason it's legal overseas in the OCG is because they love control. So Maxi inherently does nothing. But if you let Maxi loose here, combo players become afraid. It's such a dynamic meta shift. It would literally crack the format.
It would.
And I just
think.
want to say, another thing that is important to note is that B Trooper is out here. It's
That's
not in the
true.
OCG. B Trooper would search Maxi every turn, every game.
Maxi and a searchable. Oh my god, that's ridiculous, bro.
I just put it there for the meme of always people talk about it every ban list. Only reason.
Max C. All right, well
I don't see it coming back.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah,
Just
no.
wanted to be blatant right there.
Yeah, no. There's no discussion needed. Yeah, searchable. No thanks. No thanks.
It probably shouldn't.
Next.
B Trooper would literally be best deck, no joke. Like searchable Maxi.
I don't know about that. I don't know if they'd be best deck. They end on like a counter trap. So a counter trap and a Maxi, I don't know, bro. I don't know. But anyway, next up on the list is Tri-Brigade Fractal. I used to play Brigade. I used to play a lot of variants of Brigade. This is definitely a good hit to the deck. But if I'm being fair, I want to hit to the Lyrilusk engine before I want to hit to the actual Tri-Brigade engine.
Very fair. While I was making the previous list we were using, I just thought of like the top decks, and that was one of them, Bird Up Tri-Brigade, and I wasn't sure what hit to put on it, so I kind of just put the most generic hit, like Fractal to 1, or Ben, or probably 1, just for that, just because it's the most classic thing, and I'm not really very well versed in Lyrilusk to know what should be hit. If you look in the, I at least put this in earlier, some more Board of Sovereign.
Yes, we do have that to discuss after, but
yeah, we can talk more about that in depth.
When it comes to Fractal himself, I feel like it's a good consistency hit to the deck. You can still search Fractal, so you just don't open it as much.
Yeah.
Seeing it to 1 would be cool. Maybe you could bring my ulti tankies back to 3 now that I have 3 of them.
Got 3 playsets.
I got 3 playsets of ulti tanky, but I don't know. I also feel like Tri-Brigade is on like the weaker half of the spectrum right now. Like outside of the Lyrilusk build, Tri-Brigade's kind of meh. Like their end board is like the Revolt, and like the Recursion's still crazy, but like most decks, like the top contending decks right now, could play through a Banish.
Mm-hmm.
Like earlier on the stream, if you were there, then you saw I whooped their butt with Trap Eldritch, which is like the slowest moving deck ever. And if I could beat him that slow, imagine what these fast decks could do. And just set up a board that Tri-Brigade just can't play under. So it's like a thing. I think the hit is to the variant build instead of the pure build, but that's my opinion. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Very fair.
Yeah, I could totally see like Warbler getting hit. I think that card is like pretty crazy. Like a lot of those cards are just kind of crazy. Like
because on their own they suck.
Summon 2 from hand is and then the Xyz searches another card and.
Oh,
like,
we didn't put her on here, but honorable mention because I forgot to put her
Recital
on
Starling?
here. Recital
Yeah,
Starling, yeah,
That's
honorable
what I was
mention.
thinking, sorry.
That was a fair hit.
That's a fair mention as well. I didn't think about
money's
it.
on the Samorg link though.
Yeah.
Some more link,
Mhm.
but you see,
That's later
you
on.
see,
So, I'll bring this up when we get to the Morg link. I'll bring
yeah,
this
yeah,
up
no,
when we
yeah,
get
yeah. Well, for Fractal, any thoughts on Fractal, Mr.
Not
JYA?
really. I can see it getting hit. I can see it staying illegal very easily.
It's a good consistency hit putting it to 1.
Okay, and
If
next
you
up,
neuter the other decks, then Tri-Brigade could reemerge itself.
Yeah.
as, like, a
Yep.
contender.
Next up, Mystic Mind, the card that I say is fine existing as long as all the field spell searchers are neutered, which they currently are. We only have 1 terraforming, 1 metaverse, and 3 demise of the land. One of those is conditional search, so it's like you won't always resolve it. I don't see this card going anywhere. I think it's a good check to combo. I think it's a fair, like, it's not, well, it's oppressive. Don't get me wrong, it's oppressive, but like, as long as you can't play it like as a pure deck anymore, like pure Mystic Mind sucks. Like, you can't play it as a good deck anymore. It's just not valid. Everyone's playing the back row removal. There's inherent ouch to it. It's like, and you can't just burn them for game. I can't see them hitting this card. I think this card is a good counter for rogue options and just for decks to compete with the meta that necessarily can't afford playing meta. Like, Mystic Mind is just a good option for those kind of people, and I couldn't see it getting hit.
Yeah, it's like really not that common in the meta right now. Like, Striker like can play it, but like outside of that, like I've never seen a Sword Soul player side it. Like I've never like the only decks I've seen like side it. I've seen Logan side it in Drytron. Like like it's pretty rare. Like there aren't that many decks that side it currently. And if you try and play it as a pure deck, you just lose to Cosmic Cyclone because they just chain it to your field barrier.
Yeah.
That's
it's
a big
not
L.
good.
And that was Primal Gaming's first ever deck building rule I shared with everyone. If you have room for 3 Cosmic, play 3 Cosmic.
Pretty much.
Because Cosmic is cracked against these decks, and Mystic Mind was way more prevalent at the time. Even without it, it's still good. Like, you banish Sanguines, they don't get resources. You banish Conks, Walks. Like, Cosmic Cyclone is such a good utility card. But that's a discussion for a different video. Next up on the list is everyone screaming and eternally for Imperial Order has got to go. Imperial Order, in my opinion, IO is just a Saki one of, and that is Yu-Gi-Oh's specialty. Every deck has one. You got the call by, you got the IO. It's just, it happens. You get sacked. I don't think it's inherently unfair. Like, it is outable, but with the board to back it up, it does make sense why some people want to see it go. But I don't think it's going to go this list at all. I don't think it's going to be washed up. What are your thoughts?
I personally disagree because I think this has been the biggest format where IO has seen play. Like, I think in previous years, it's kind of just been like, oh, alright, like, maybe I'll side deck 1, but like, now everyone's maining or siding it, and it's just, and with Prosperity, you can dig for it a lot easier. Like, it's just become easier to see your Saki 1-0s. So like, Call By as a 1-0 is a good card, right? You stopped an Ash or a Veiler, or maybe you're playing Drytron and you stop the roll. IO says, hey, a third of the game is literally irrelevant. It's insane.
I could honestly, so when I think of Saki 1-ofs, the only equivalent one I think of IO would probably be Harpy's Feather Duster, and
Yep.
I really can't think of any others that are as strong as that.
Yep.
Or no, maybe Skill Drain at best, maybe, but even then, not really.
But another argument I can make for IO staying here is that this format, everyone's playing IO, but there's also trap cards are actually like creeping up and being good again. Like trap cards are good now. So IO may shut off a third of the game, but as you saw in my last duel on the stream, come check us out, Primal Gaming on Twitch. We were playing Trap Eldritch, dude flipped IO and lost to it. Lost to his own IO. So it becomes a double-edged sword. Like, if you activate it, cool. Then I set 5 pass, what is your IO doing? Except killing your own deck if you play any spells. Or just being a burn that you can't get rid of. So, like, I could argue that it's, like, really good, but there is some matchups where you flip it and lose. Like, it's not an auto win. It's only an auto win half of the time. And it doesn't stop Pendulum either. It just stops like pen call. You can still activate your scales. You can still pen summon. You can still do all that nonsense. It hurts Pendulum. Don't get me wrong. It hurts Pendulum, but Pendulum could still play through it. They can still play through it.
But Pen is also more of a fringe player anyway. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like what I'm saying is like I don't know. I feel like IO is strong, but not the end, be all end all of the game.
Very good reasoning, X. Very good reasoning.
I think Imperial Order has to go because it's searchability. It's ridiculously strong. Like, we're just gonna be blatant about this. It's Saki 1-0, of course. And obviously with Konami trying to push Sky Striker in the near future with all these new support cards, I can't see IO coexisting with the new Striker support unless you want to think of it as a hard counter the same way Protoss counters Drytron.
I could honestly see it.
That's a good argument.
Could see either or. I could see either or happening very easily, and I think only time will tell.
I think it's also important to note the amount of pushback that card has earned from the player base. So, like, Mystic Mine, in terms of, like, hating, like, people always hate it, but, like, the conversations kind of died down. IO's at its hottest right now. Everyone's talking about, yo, we gotta ban that card, yo, we gotta ban that card. Konami, if they don't ban it, is gonna get some blowback from the player base.
I mean, to be fair, that argument is kind of like, I wouldn't say relevant because they said the same thing about Mine. Like you said, they said the same thing about Dragoon. They said Dragoon had to get banned. It's not getting banned. I don't think it's ever getting banned. Like, the fan base sometimes just is wrong inherently, and this could be one of those times. It could not be, but that's like, it's just a rebuttal to that argument. But speaking of controversy, the next card on our list is Predaplant, Verte, Anaconda. To start off this, I've been saying this card is the problem since the day it came out. You want to play 3 Red Eyes Fusion in a Dragoon deck? Go for it. You want to play 3 Fusion Destiny in a DPE deck? Go for it. But the fact that any combo deck can just play 3 cards and shit out these absolutely powerful monsters like Dragoon and DPE as like a little extra on their end board if they have any 2 effect monsters is ridiculous. And the more they keep pumping these fusions, the more inherently broken Verte Anaconda is going to be. Like, the new branded stuff's coming out, and that new fusion monster is ridiculous. The super poly for dragons, like, it's like,
yeah,
it's insane. Verte has always been the problem. Verte has to go. If you want to play the fusion monsters, great, but you shouldn't be able to play them in every deck.
Very good opinion, X, and I can agree with that. I can agree with that opinion. I could see it getting banned because, once again, it's been out for quite a long time. The time factor is not really a thing. It's really just what, like, Konami wants to push in the future, and do they want this to be a part of their game? Simple as that.
I think it's also important to note, though, that with that they have reprinted it recently.
True.
So, I mean, I guess that could go either way, because sometimes they immediately...
Sometimes they print the tins and then ban half the tins. Yeah, everybody buys their tins and then they ban cards.
Sometimes they reprint it and then they wait 10 months to ban it. So that's kind of interesting. I'll be curious to see, but they also might keep it around to help sell branded, because then, you know, combo decks might go like, oh, yo, I need the branded package that I can play with my Verte Anaconda. Like, that might just help sell certain cards, like certain future spells.
That's a valid argument. Yeah. Mr. JYA?
What's the question?
We're on Verte.
That's a tough one. I don't think they're going to hit it yet. I don't know. Maybe I'm going crazy here. Maybe I'm taking crazy pills. I think Verte is like the one possibility. They'll hit that, but they wouldn't hit any of the fusion cards.
Right. That was my art. That's what I was saying. I was saying that, like, the fact that any deck can summon these boss fusion monsters is insane. But if you want to play a deck dedicated to them, awesome. Like, go for it. You're a cool kid.
Yeah, like Necrogoon or something.
Yeah, like if you're playing that, cool. That's fun. That's interesting. It's fair. And yeah, so there's that. So that is everybody's thoughts on Verte.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. Next up on the list is Samorg, Bird of Sovereignty. This goes back to the Leer Loose build of Tri Brigade being hit. I do think this is a possibility. It's insanely strong. Spamming out Wind Barrier statue is the most irritating thing on the planet.
Can I bring something up?
Go for it.
So, Simorgh is very I believe in the future and probably semi-near future, within the next coming months, Simorgh are receiving a new support card, a Simorgh Bird of Extermination, which is a very powerful card for Simorgh, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tri-Brigade is still legal by then. Simorgh, more like with the in-archetypal stuff, Simorgh Tri-Brigade becomes a new variant running around, because the card is inherently so powerful. So I doubt they would hit Simorgh Bird of Extermination directly, just because if they're going to be printing this new card and they actually want Simorgh to see some semblance of play, so I doubt they would like touch Simorgh, because I would like damper that like probability.
Okay. Anybody else? Simorgh?
I think they need to do something to the engine, whether it's Simorgh or you ban the barrier statue, or like Avion or something. But I think the real card is you go for the thing that enables them. No one was complaining about Wind Barrier statue before that card came out. Avion was a tech in some penless occasionally. Like, that was it. Like,
just think about it like
you ban the
this:
problem.
a Simorgh Link enabled an infinite negate combo.
That is also true.
Breakable, but you know, it's just no. That's the problem, child. And Konami is not making any money off that card anymore. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And the honorable mention, we were
Like,
talking
even
about it
with the new
before.
support, like,
Yeah, it would do support. What's up?
if the new support is good enough, then it shouldn't matter that they're banning the
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
That's a smart answer.
All right. The last and not least card of the serious discussion before we get into our hot takes on the ban list is Recticle Starling. Another honorable mention of the Tri-Brigade deck. This card is fucking insane. Not once per turn, add a level 1 winged beast, and that deck is too strong. These new birds are crazy. They do all sorts of crazy stuff. They enable like end boards of like 18 monsters. They don't lock you at all. It's wild. It's insane. It needs to be banned or hit in some way, or errata to a hard once per turn. But like, look how long they took to they look how long they took to hit Red MD. Like, come on, that's not happening. So I'll take a ban on this guy.
Yeah. It's also important to note that this guy also enables you to make the Utopic Draco future thing. So then, like, you just don't care about hand traps either, because, like, then they have to nib you. Like, they literally have to see Droll, or they have to nib you before you make the Draco future, and then you just start playing Fabricate. So, like, it's literally like Droll or bust against that deck, which is just terrible. Like, it's just a terrible feeling.
Yep. Any thoughts, Mr. JYA?
One more time.
Recticle Starling.
I mean, if they don't hit Simorgh, then yeah, I can see that one going to 1. Yep.
All right. And now it's time for the hot takes. We're gonna start with my hot take. The card that, in my opinion, did nothing wrong. It was misjudged and hated on just because it was on the list before. Zodiac Trident. All right. And I do have some extras. I don't just want it back. If they bring it back, you can hit Chakanine to 1, or you could ban Chakanine, or something like that. But let me play Pure Zoo again. Pure Zoo was so much fun. And Trident, like, the one pop wasn't crazy. It was not crazy. It was pretty fair. Like, every Zodiac deck I played, it was fair. I didn't play Tri-Zoo, obviously. I don't like that variant. If I'm playing Zoo, I'm playing Pure. But Tri-Zoo without Chakanine is a bad deck. And I would like to play Zoo again.
As someone who enjoyed Zodiac Eldritch a lot when it was in its prime, or probably a few months ago, probably more.
No, that was like a year ago, bro.
Yeah, like a year ago.
You're
Yeah.
tripping.
It was hard. Like, I wasn't a full year ago, but I didn't want to say like a few months. Hard to say. But like, yeah, more of a year ago. I enjoyed it, and I would personally agree with X if they just like either like ban Shaq or something else to make Trident legal again. I would probably play the deck because I love Pure Zoo.
There's no way in hell that card's coming back. Just saying. Pardon my language. No, absolutely not. Not gonna happen. And I'm not trying to crap on your hot take. I'm just saying, like, if they brought that back, then they'd have to ban Zeus. They'd have to do a bunch of other hits. And they'd have to no. Maybe someday in the distant future.
Or I'll even take, if they bring Dryden back, ban Borbal. I'll take that too. I'll take that too.
Okay.
I'll take that.
I'm okay with that one.
I'm okay with the deck taking hits. I just want to be able to play pure Zoo. Borbal is like meh in pure Zoo. All right, it's just a Zeus Turbo. It's Zeus Turbo, but I don't have to play Zoo that way. I played Zoo differently anyway.
Yeah,
but
objectively speaking,
I would take Borbal ban, check, hit, whatever they want to do. But I just want my Dryden back. I'm okay with taking a hit to get Dryden back. Absolutely. All right. Next person's hot take. We have release the piece, the true Draco slaying king. The hot take of ROB. Explain yourself.
Okay, so I have a few reasons for why I picked this. One, I couldn't think of anything else. Two, the meme was too good not to do. And three, I'm a very extensive Dragoon player. I've played Dragoon in numerous decks, and I believe like let's just list off the amount of things currently that can like out Masterpiece quite easily. Like all the kaijus can out Masterpiece very easily, and people are playing those if like against Dragoon. Also, just think of how many cards that can just beat over Dragoon. Masterpiece so easily now. Like Access Code can beat, you can just summon it, and most decks can make it. A bunch of other links can do it, and just there's many ways to summon it. Shaw Brigade can out it by their Omen with 50 extra attack. Literal Loose, I assume they have a very easy way of outing it. Drytron can do it without blinking. Eldritch can do it without blinking. So like there's a lot of ways that this card like can be outed. I do not, it still will be a good card, but I do not think it will be as good and broken as it was before. Do I see it coming back? Probably not. Do I think it's okay? Probably. Maybe not at multiples, but I think at one, it probably would be fine.
All right.
I think it's important to note though that a lot of the outs to Masterpiece can be Masterpiece popped. Like Access Code can be popped on res.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cards that can just get popped on res.
It can, but I could like Dragoon. That thing is like, if that hasn't gotten banned yet, and like, I can see the either way. Like I said, not the most realistic one, but there's one I thought would be interesting and worth bringing up at least.
Nah. I'll tell you what, I don't care if Masterpiece were to come back because I don't think it would do anything. But I don't think they're gonna bring it back. No, it's not the time. No,
Like,
I don't think so.
like imagine like
worth talking about.
But to play the devil's advocate, right? You have one Masterpiece pop, and you're playing against decks that could summon like easily 30 times in a turn.
Yeah.
You're bound to burn your pop before it matters. Like,
but to be fair, you're also gonna back it up with Floodgates because you're playing True Draco. So I mean, you're gonna have.
I mean, that's if you open it, you open it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it is what it is, and you just have to play with that like a Yu-Gi-Oh.
But not to mention, we do have multiple returns and stuff like that can turbo out on your opponent's turn as well.
That is
Then
true.
you get extra
We do
pops,
have
trap
that now.
cards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm just trying to say, like there have been buffs to Masterpiece as a card because they brought cards back off the list because Masterpiece is gone and diagrams at one and all that stuff.
Yeah. Alrighty. All right, Mr. JYA, it is your hot take turn. We are talking about the one, the only heavy metal foes, Electromite, coming off the list.
Yo, we got Penn Sport right around the corner, bro. And if they were to bring back Electromite tomorrow, it would reinvigorate the entire Pendulum community. It would generate so much hype and excitement. I think it would get some players back in who miss Pendulum. Okay, that's kind of cap. I think it would just, I think the people who enjoy Pendulum are already still in the game. They stuck it out, you know what I mean? But I don't think it would be too oppressive. I think there's far more oppressive cards and, technically strong cards than one Electromite. That's very key here. I don't think Electromite could ever come to more than one. But I think bringing it back to one, in lieu of the fact that we've got Pendulum support in the form of Beyond the Pendulum coming out this year later in 2022, it would just, maybe this isn't the list for it, but I guarantee you we're going to have at least one Pendulum support card coming back, and it could be the day that they free Electromite. Electromite did nothing wrong, man. Electromite did nothing wrong whatsoever. Remember the day they freed Stratos? We're losing it?
Yeah.
Bro. Tomorrow's gonna be the same way.
What I could argue, and just to be a devil's advocate against you, is that would you say that Electromite makes the new support cards less relevant, and people be like, I'll just play my Electromite over the new support card, like because Electromite would be technically better than the new guy. So do you play the new guy if you have Electromite? Like, where's the balance there?
You drive a real good point, but they're both really good. Like,
but
think
like,
about it.
who's better though?
I generally speaking, I think there's merit for both of them to be on an even playing field. Now, if you were to ask me which one's a flat out better, more generic card, yeah, it's probably Electromite. All right, you got me.
All right.
But if we're talking about, I do think that in tandem, they make the perfect 2-card Link Monster package for any Pendulum deck. And one of, Beyond the Pendulum is a bit more balanced, right? Because it locks you out of certain effects until you resolve that Pendulum summon. But it has the added benefit of being able to blow up cards like that your opponent controls. You can pop 2. You can pop 2 straight up, nice and easy. Just by Pendulum summoning monsters with different levels. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think that they work so exceptionally well in tandem with one another. So I think it's going to be a dynamic duo. Not if, but when we get Electromite back.
All right.
The one other issue I can see though is that there's going to be budget players that are going to just say, "Oh, I already have Electromite. I don't need to pick up Beyond the Pendulum now." You know what I mean? Like it's going to
that's called money talking.
Yeah. Like I think as a card, Electromite's okay to come back. But I think in terms of Konami's marketing department, they'll try and bring back a different Pendulum card that wouldn't affect the Link 2. You know what I mean? Like bring back a monkey board or something like that to get people hyped. We'll see.
They're very, very good. Very good rebuttal. And now for the final card of the hot take list, our boy TK with a legendary take on the sackiest one of in the game, Called by the Grave.
Alright. Boys, hear me out. Most people aren't main decking that many hand traps right now. They're really not. The only deck that's really main decking a ton of hand traps is like in terms of like the meta. Like Sword Soul, I really like. How many hand traps do they play? Like 9, maybe 6 to 9. Am I crazy?
That's still like a quarter of your deck, bro.
Man, and I don't want to step on the hot take here, but with Crossout having just came out, and I don't like to look to the OCG ban list, but this is a case where I can't see it, my man. I can't see it. I think that we can't afford to buff combo any further in a format that is devoid of Max C, and adding another call by would be buffing combo harder. I don't know.
I get that, but like we also just hit a lot of the combo cards on this list.
Well, that's such like a hypothetical. Like if everything we say is right, and then call by comes back, like that's crazy. Okay. That's like if that means we were right for every card on this fucking list, and then call by comes back, like. That's a really hot take. That's like a parallel dimension take right there. That's like some multiverse where we're just right on this one. Konami's like, yeah, those guys, their opinion's valid. Maybe we're famous in that timeline. I don't know. But that's like a super.
Yeah, we're Konami developed.
That's a stretch. That's a long stretch.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean,
another thing is though is like, I guess another issue with Callby is that it also stops Thrall, just like objectively speaking, the best hand trap of the format. So.
And we also have like things like talents and crossout, and you just plus.
No one's really playing crossout.
No one's playing crossout right now because everyone's playing very like signature decks. Like crossout, I would argue that in the near future when live events start coming back more forward, that crossout will sneak its way into the side deck. Only for mirror matches, and just blow up your opponent's starter. Like imagine like you're going first and you brick or whatever is Sword Soul. Somehow you brick, right? And you open up like Crossout and 4 cards you can't start with. You set Crossout. You're supposed to go normal summon Moyi, activate Crossout, banish Moyi. What does your opponent do, bro? They're just like, well, that's it. It depends on their hand, obviously, but like I'm saying, like I could see Crossout being like a mirror match side when live events come back, like just for the mirror, like the only reason you're playing it.
Yeah, it was mostly just to take away the sackiness of it, but yeah, It is tough to see. I don't think Konami like likely won't because of the money like thing. Is like they're probably gonna want to reprint Crossout in some products too. But I don't know. I miss Eternal format when we had 3 of those things.
Yo, I'm just.
But the format was a lot more fair then, so. I guess
I'm just so happy I never bought Crossout because I knew it was gonna tank. I was like, Crossout's not that great.
It was gonna be, like, broken.
Yeah, I was like, this card's good, but like, is it realistically gonna be like the savior of every hand? Probably not.
Yeah, and Call By is objectively better because you don't need to play a brick for it. Like even though
air quote brick.
Nib. No, I know, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
Combo, like you don't want to open up Nib or something. You know what I mean? Like.
Yep.
Yeah, Call By doesn't have that issue, but Call By doesn't have the versatility to stop a Nib or an Imperm or stuff like that, or Lancia. Well, no, it can stop Lancia. Sorry, I meant Nib or Imperm and stuff like that. Or it can, like, it also can't stop, like, if you set it, like, stop like a droplet or something.
Yeah, it does have it has its. They each have their own plus and minus. I mean, I could argue that Call By the Grave could just stop Eldritch in its tracks, or
that's fair.
You know,
I mean,
like
yeah.
It could do it. It could do it. It could do its own. It could do its own niche things that just shut off some decks. But you know, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough.
It's a tricky.
But I do have to say I agree with Logan on this one. That we can't buff combo anymore. I already take naps with my opponent's Sword Soul combos. I don't need me to have an interruption and be awake and they just activate Call By. I can't have it. I can't have it anymore. But yeah. All right, is that all? Is there any honorable mentions anybody just thought of during the list that they want to spit out there?
Yeah.
Oh, Gazelle, honorable mention. Salamangreat Gazelle. My argument for this is that I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
Man, it's okay. Excuse me. There's no need to argue. I think it's a completely acceptable.
I think that card. I honestly think you could play Circle and Gazelle.
I was gonna argue for Circle over the monster.
Interesting. I'd honestly argue this other way
because
oh, sorry.
Sorry. I say Circle over the monster because when it comes to utility of the deck, like 3 Gazelle, that's awesome. Don't get me wrong. That's crazy good.
Yeah.
But with the way the deck would play now, I feel like Circle is a bit better because you could search on your turn and protect on your opponent's turn because we have a lot of things like DPE and 1 Balinx isn't enough anymore, like to protect your stuff. So I feel like Circle would give the deck more of a buff. Like I would play 2 to 3 Circle, but Gazelle, like I would play 3 of it. But if I open like 2 or more than 2, I'm kind of like like I don't know. I feel like Circle buffs the deck more than Gazelle does.
Agree with that,
I
think if we're bringing back 1, Konami would probably start off with the lighter one coming back first. I think. Another nice thing about 3 Gazelle, like in terms of a buff, like I think Circle would actually be better for the deck itself. But if you brought Gazelle to 3, is that Desires is much more runnable in that deck now. Now you don't need to worry about banishing your 1-up Gazelle. So Desires just becomes infinitely better.
If I'm telling the truth, I don't even run Desires in my build. I just don't. I run the buffer low combo because in my opinion it's just better.
No, I get that, but I'm trying to say you could run both.
Yeah, you could run both. There's no reason not to, but
because you don't need to worry about banishing Gazelle. Like that's the only reason why you don't run Desires.
So what do you guys think? The argument Circle versus Gazelle.
I can understand.
Oh, go ahead, Rob.
It's hard to say. It's just like such a long thing. Like this has been such a long debated thing. I'm just not sure. Like because it's just been on that list for so long. I'm not sure they would do it now. Maybe if so, there's still an OCG salad card. I would say it would make sense if when that got released, they would just bring it back, just like bring light to it again. But I could see it coming back because it's probably fine, but I'm just not sure if Konami would take the initiative.
Yeah. Another reason why I see Gazelle over Circle is just because Gazelle's like the iconic monster of the deck. You know what I mean? I think it get people a lot more hype than Circle to 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Circle to 3 would get people hype, but everyone would be like, "Oh my God, Gazelle!" Like that's like, I feel like if like BA got like Dante back. Like let's just say that they banned Dante in an alternate world and they brought back Dante. Everyone would be like, "Oh my god."
I got you. I understand that.
You gotta
I understand.
Like, it's
I understand,
the
like,
icon.
from the concept, from the perspective of, like, trying to get people hyped. Gazelle's the one that does the job.
Yeah.
I feel that. What do you think, Mr. JYA? Logan?
Yes.
Gazelle versus Circle. What were your any final
Like, what
thoughts?
card
It's
do you think was
out of
the-
3.
No, but, like, I'm saying, like, could you agree that Circle might be better? Or, like, do you have any thoughts on, like, Circle going to 3 versus Gazelle or anything like that?
No, I think I would think that Gazelle going to 3 would make more sense first, because Circle is just more generic. There are situations where you may not want to search Gazelle, genuinely. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Circle
I like
mining
that.
is nuts.
Oh, and let's also not forget that it has the added protection effect. So if you opened
Yeah.
up Gazelle and then protection effect, ooh. So yeah, that's
and
my
circle
that's my-
mining is insane. And circle mining's insane. So then you add Spinny, and then mining pit Spinny, and then add Gazelle, and then that's just
Oh, cracked, bro, cracked.
Yeah. All right. Is there any more hot takes besides Gazelle we want to talk about, or are we gonna wrap it up right here?
I think that's a good spot because we've been talking for a while.
Good.
I'm gonna wrap it up with one more.
Oh, go ahead, go for it.
Final thought. All right, hear me out, guys. Hear me out.
We're still
Wind
under
up-
an hour, so we're good.
Wind up
wind up
carrier.
Wind up carrier 7.
Not gonna do a darn thing. Legalize it. Legalize it.
You know what? I agree. Like I was always thinking, oh, you just hit Hunter instead.
Fair.
But like,
You don't need
honestly,
to.
you don't even need to. You literally don't need to. Like, because Mermail is objectively the better hand loop deck, and no one plays it because it loses to any hand trap whatsoever. Just like Wind Up would.
Yep.
Oh, Valor's and Mighty. All right, pass. Like.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying.
That's fair. That's fair. That's a fair
I think
opinion.
Konami's
I think that's
literally
fine.
just held a grudge against that card because of the hand loop, and then they just like didn't think logically over the last 10 years and been like, a lot's changed in that time period. A hand loop for 3 was an FTK back, and a hand loop for 3 or 4 cards was an FTK back then. Now it'd
But
be
not
like,
anymore,
okay, cool,
no.
you just sent my Eldritch cards. Banish.
Moving on.
Yeah, I believe there's a lot of cards that trigger off a hand loop.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, you sent my Drytrons to grave, XD. Oh no, you sent my kit, trigger. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no, you sent my Spinny. Activate Gazelle.
Like, it's I can see what you guys are saying. I think that's
Yeah.
fair. I wasn't really playing competitively when this card was a problem, but from the way you guys were explaining it, I think it's pretty fair, and it's just not good anymore. So
Let's put it this way: if your archetype is made out of cards that are 10 years old and you're not Infernity, you're probably a bad deck.
you're not Infernity.
Yeah, because Infernity.
Infernity's
you know
like
what a
inherently
once per turn
cracked.
was.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, Infernity's cracked. Yep. All right. Well, that was a wonderful discussion. Shout out to everybody who came out. Mr. LoganJYA, his channel will be in the description below. Go hit him up. Go drop him a follow. He's a really cool guy. Shout out to my boy Tom. Shout out to Rob for coming in up with this little list idea, and we got all the videos together. Everybody coming through.
If you're looking for advertising, contact me on Discord.
Yeah, he does that. He's a little server buffer. Shameless plugs. Who cares, right? All right. But with that being said, thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget to drop a like, a subscription, leave a comment down below telling me your opinion. I'm curious. I will answer. But with that being said, we are out of here.
See you, chumps.